as soon as it pulls up.
Okay, we just went live.
Bum, bum, bum. Hey, there it is.
Yep.
You got them all?
Yeah, I'm getting it. It should be shared.
So as soon as we get some viewers, which we have plenty, we'll go ahead and fire up. Pascal, I'm going to share this to your page too.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, everybody. We are now live for the new episode before the games tonight in Fort Wayne. So we will go ahead and get going. Proud to be joined with former Comet player in the 06-07 season, Pascal Morency. He's live from out west with us. And we're going to get into some discussion topics. First off, thanks for joining us, Pascal. Everybody's been looking forward to it. And
yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah.
And if you guys have any questions to ask that you want us to ask Pascal, please feel free to ask them in the comment section, and we will get to them as quickly as we can.
He's watching too, so he can answer.
Yeah. If you see anything, Pascal, on the comment thread, by all means.
Well, I just had to turn it off because I was there was an echo.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll read them to you then. Even better.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, if you turn the sound down.
Oh yeah,
because you'll still be able to hear us on the phone.
Yeah, you're right. I'll do that. Yeah, good call.
That's about the extent of my tech.
So, all right, man. Well, while you're doing that, so you played in Fort Wayne 06-07, right?
That's right.
And
yeah.
What's the biggest memory that you have of your time here?
Well, it was all around a good year. It was a fun year for me. I was like, and that year I was on a mission. I felt like coming off from a tough year the year before. I think that Pat Bigham was the head coach there. I think he coached only one season there, but he got me on board because he coached me before. Knew I went into like some little personal issue in Wheeling and asked me how I was doing. And so he got me, basically like he was kind of a mentor and got me there and wanted to help me out. And I went there and I was dedicated. And I remember like it was just a fun year to be able to play and be in a good place. And, like there's a good group of guys there. A lot of good people. I remember like guys that I never got to see after that. But, I remember Guy Dupuis, like I think he's from Fort Wayne. He lives there still, but
Yep.
He, great captain, great guy. It was just some good people there. Jonathan Goodwin too was a guy that I stayed in touch, went to his wedding after. Like it was some good guys there. I'd say the memories, like playoff hockey was fun. I remember the fight I had with the goalie Marty the Major on New Year's Eve.
I remember
that was a pretty good one.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was good. It was. There's a lot of good memories. I don't know which was the best, but it was a great year for me. I remember that.
Awesome. You now when you came in here, did you come in with the mentality of having the playing style that you did, the rough and tumble and energy building forward that you were?
Yeah, that started in junior. This agitating, But I really like got a lot of confidence that year, knowing like, hey man, I can forecheck and crush people. Like that's what I remember about that year. It's like how I was so driven. Like Marty Gascon was playing on my line, and he made me a better player all around because he was so smart with the puck. And I remember how we like used at the beginning of the year, it was hard to adjust to each other because he was such a smart player and I was such a like, but then as the year went on, we kind of figured out how to play with each other, and it was so beneficial. He made me a better player to really understand the game. He knew exactly what to do sometimes, if it was like a 3-on-3, going, he knew where I was, and he would put it the puck so it bounced right perfectly for me to go and like hunt some guys down. I mean, like it was fun to play with him. And there was David Oclo as well that was playing on our line. It was a fun line. We were playing against top lines. And then, I really enjoyed I really discovered how I can forecheck and how really this can help me go to the next level in the way I was not slowing down. Like I was just going there and get the puck back. I didn't understand. I didn't understand at what point, like these little details sometimes of getting the puck back, not just crush the guy, but like getting the puck back and be in the old zones and all these things, like how important it is and how they check all these things in the, let's say, the American League and things like that. So we get to spend time in the O zone. So, you can put your chicken line or fort line out there, play nails them, get off. So yeah, it was a great stepping stone for me for sure.
That's awesome. We have a question already about your time here.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite team to play against when you were with us? Do you remember, if you remember, had one?
Hold on. I mean, I think Kalamazoo had some good. We had good games against these guys. Rockford.
Rockford was always fun.
Yeah, Rockford was fun. Kalamazoo. Who else?
Say we would have had Muskegon back then. Flint. Oh man, I'm drawing blanks too. You guys remember who else? Oh, looking it up.
The Chicago Hounds.
There was a Chicago team there. Elmira, I remember them. Adirondack.
Yeah.
I remember you playing against Kalamazoo. I remember because I was 18, 19. I remember watching you skate across the ice and check a guy into their bench. That was pretty awesome. That tiny little rink up there.
Yeah. I think Kalamazoo was good rivalry back then.
Yeah, it's starting to come back for the boys now too. They're starting to not like each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My fat fingers.
So what do we got here?
You just calm down.
All the teams.
I got my fat fingers going. Calm down.
That just took it to the current year.
There's quite a few people watching too. So
talk then.
we'll move on from that question. So
yeah.
Another question. Somebody sent me a message a minute ago. What was your favorite scrap that you remember from your playing time anywhere?
My favorite scrap?
Yeah. What was the best tilt that you got into?
It's hard to say. I mean, like the best tilt, like, if I remember, I mean, I haven't seen those fights, but I had two, I think, in one game against Konopka, and I remember, I think the second one was a pretty long one. I remember there was a brawl. There was a brawl against Wilkes-Barre. And it was like on our team on the ice, we had Michael Haley, Trevor Gillis, myself, Westgard, and yeah. And we were like Jack, like we were a pretty tough team. And yeah, it was just like the old time hockey, I'd say. But as far as the best scrap, my favorite scrap, I don't know how to answer that.
I know you had a few here and there.
Yeah,
I remember
mean,
the goalie. I remember the goalie fight. That's the one I remember the best.
You know what? I think that would be my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I think that was my favorite one.
You don't see those too often.
It's just
Not anymore.
It's just because of the way, I don't know. It was like, I remember it was sold out. It was New Year's. It was an afternoon game, and I don't know. It was just like there's so much energy in the building, and I didn't plan on fighting him or anything like that, but it just happened, and I just remember like people going nuts, and even myself and the goalie. I think we both had. We're friends on Facebook now. I mean, we talked about it a few times. I mean, it's pretty fun. So yeah, I would say that had to be one of my favorite ones for sure.
So the teams in the league back then when you played was Muskegon Fury, Kalamazoo, Flint Generals, Port Huron, Elmira, Rockford, Quad City, Chicago Hounds, so that they were there, and the Bloomington Prairie Thunder.
We lost in the finals.
Yeah. I would say Rockford had some good games against these guys.
Yeah.
They were a pretty tough team. I mean, it's, I still remember losing in the playoff against these guys. That's never fun, but it's not a good feeling. But I remember the games, like we had good games against these guys. They were a pretty physical team, and we had some good games. There was good rivalry there.
Sure. Yeah, I remember a goalie that played for Rockford, and his name was Michelle Robinson. And me and him went back and forth a few times with that for different reasons. So he did not like me, and I didn't like him. So, so all right. So I guess we'll go ahead and transition. So for everybody that doesn't know, Pascal's been doing a lot of motivational style speaking, and if you follow him on Facebook, he puts a lot of great stuff up. I followed you for a long time and watch everything and read everything. So, I guess let's just start. Before the show, we talked a little bit about wheeling and kind of the transition that you were feeling going through and everything. So I'll let you take it away with whatever you feel like, man.
Well, I mean, I was really hockey actually like saved me in some way. I was a depressed kid, like by 12, 13 years old. I remember I wrote my suicidal letter when I was 13. So I was really up and down. School was difficult. Then like hockey, I made myself, like I was dedicated myself to hockey. So it's really saved me. And then in junior, playing major junior, and then for having this goal and these dreams. And so I went after it. But, there's things that was within me that, it's like hockey saved me, but also hockey, it still was used as a patch to some of the stuff that was going on inside myself. And so after that, you go into, I started in Flint with the Generals, then I went 2 years in Wheeling, and that second year in Wheeling, that's the year before Fort Wayne.
Yep.
I played 17 games. I had an injury, and then I ended up having to leave the team because I was really in a bad shape. I mean, I got hooked on drugs. It was like the party lifestyle. It was going out. And there's things that I didn't know how to deal with within myself. So at this point, I had to go take care of myself. I had to get out. And I told the coach, and I didn't even explain, I didn't know who to trust really. I didn't even know. All I said is I need to go take care of myself. I'm not doing well. And then so Fort Wayne was like a year where I was like, okay, I really want to put the hockey first. And so I got out of the, like I was hooked on like drugs like cocaine and stuff like that. And then so I went into Fort Wayne. I was like sober, clear of that. I was like on a mission. But then after that, as I go along after that, going in the American League, then like it's other stuff. It's like I remember at the end of my year in Fort Wayne, I had a knee surgery. Then you can take painkillers, and then you go into. I had 3 surgery the following year in the American League. 3 on my right hand. So you get onto painkillers, like you get hooked on that, and then not only that, it's like the sleeping pills, like you want to go to sleep at night or things like this. You get hooked on that.
Sure.
And then that kept on until so it was not necessarily the party. Like I was off the other drugs, but everything was patching. I was finding like I was getting through by patching things up, and that's the thing. Like there's things within yourself sometimes, and you want to get better, and we do it by patching things up. It's like, and everything becomes an escape. As far as like hockey, it becomes an escape. It's like either for some it's partying, for some it's some drugs, for some it's like painkillers, and for some it's food, for some it's like sex. It's like there's all kinds of patches that we use. And so and then I kept like going through, and the thing about, not the good thing, but the thing about the painkillers and stuff like that is it helps you stay home at night, or sleeping pills. It helps you stay home at night, not going out and party, and being able to just stay home, take something, you go to bed, you wake up, you go train, you keep going, and then these things, whatever you try to avoid within yourself, will intensify over time. And then it led me to a brain injury in 2011. And I was in a critical condition. And then from that, it woke me up in some way. Like, really woke me up. Like, it really realized that I had to make change. And I started to face things within myself. I started to acknowledge what was going on inside me, which before I never would go inward. Everything had to be like, if outside is good, I'm good. If outside is bad, I'm bad. So you're always like the victim of your circumstances. When you go live your life like this, you always end up being dependent of how things are going and outside of you to feel good. And now today, it's interesting because there's times where I can look, let's say things are not always sunshine and rainbow, but I can look at how things are on the outside and how I would be in the past. I would be like so depressed. And today I can sometimes look on the outside and feel like I'm still happy, even though things are tough sometimes or whatever. I'm in a good place. I'm happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's so for me, it led me to my coaching service that I have online. The empowerment coach. I like to work with athletes. I like to work with players, or there's some even like people in general, in whatever industry that they're in, that I'd like to work with them and work about things that are like a lot of times, it's the way we look at things. It's our perspective. It's our belief system. It's the things that we avoid to acknowledge that intensify, because the more we avoid, the more we resist things to persist in people's lives. And for sure, I know for a fact, if I knew that as an athlete, how it would impact my performance, of course. I mean, when you're in a good place, when you're excited, when you get up, when you're like, you breathe and you feel good, like you're in a good state to go out there and perform. And that's why I want to help guys, not just to perform, but I also like to help them liberate themselves from things that they've been putting on the back burner for so many years. So that's where that's where they're all like, I like to use my experience and be able to share and help other people or help guys to liberate themselves and go out there and be the best that they can be in everyday life. So
Sure. Now you said in
Yeah.
2011 you had a brain injury. Was that
Yeah.
hockey related?
No, it was not. It was a Christmas party, a team Christmas party. Like I said, I was taking a lot of Ambien.
Okay.
These are like sleeping pills.
Sure.
So it was Christmas party, we're out. Then next thing you know, I was going to one of my buddies' apartment, and we took Ambien, and that blacked out. And next thing I know, I woke up in the bottom of the staircase in the building,
Okay.
and it was like concrete.
Oof.
And I was at the end of the stairs, and then I was so confused, didn't know where I was. And then next thing you know, I didn't remember where I lived. I didn't you know what I mean? I was
Sure.
so confused. Missed the team training. Well, obviously, like I didn't know. I went to the gym. I lay on the couch and passed out there. They woke me up, and that was in Croatia. And I was playing in Europe at that time. And then next thing you know, one of my teammates called somebody, my trainer, and then he saw my head. My head was like I was not bleeding, but my head was so big, and I didn't even realize. And then so they took me in, and then they I guess I was not fooled there, because when they did the scan and everything at the hospital,
Mhm.
they told me like I was bleeding, like I was bleeding internally in my brain.
Sure.
And I was in a critical condition, and I just kind of giggle, and I'm like, "Don't worry, I'm fine." And then they were trying to the GM at the time. He was like, "No, Pascal, listen, you can die. Like you're in a critical condition." And I'm like, "No, I'm fine." And then, I mean, half my face was paralyzed. You know, I had a lot of symptoms from that, but it really it was a shift. It was a shift for sure
Yeah.
at that point. Yeah.
So now with all your empowerment stuff that you do and everything that you help everybody with, I know that just this last week, a big name NHLer, Bobby Ryan, went into the NHL's player assistance program.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you still do stuff with guys? Like, do you still see like a lot of like mental, I hate to say disorders, but they kind of are disorders in the game today, or
Yeah.
is it more the party
Yeah.
life still that you see the most?
I mean, there's you know, the thing is, nobody have all the answers. But you know, like it's really like the mental condition. I mean, for me, it's when I became aware. A lot of the mental illness, so mental situation, is that we identify ourselves to the voice in our head all the time, and then the voice is like in charge in some way. And then when you become aware of how like this mind, or we can call it the ego mind, the way like we let it wow and run our show, then we become in the passenger seat, and then it create all these stories, anxiety and scenarios and whatever, and then we begin to fear. It's not that you're liberated from this voice. The voice is still there, but it's not consuming. It's not like driving me to the wall. Like I'm aware. Like you become aware of the voice, and the more it's a mental condition, and for me, it led me to like in wheeling, I was not just addicted. I was very depressed. Like I was in a deep depression. I was suicidal, and that's why I had to leave. Like I was very to the point I had given up on life at that point. That's the year before Fort Wayne. I had given up on life.
Sure.
I knew I was gonna end. It's like I knew I was gonna end this soon, So I was just living and whatever, doing whatever. I was spending money. I was like, it didn't matter. There's no plan. I didn't have to save money for anything because in my mind, I was convinced that I was going to end this. And it's a sad thing because I remember feeling like coming home at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and crying, looking myself in the mirror and calling myself a loser. I mean, like when you think about these things, it's like if I hear anything similar, it's like I suddenly became so compassionate because I experienced such a heaviness, such a hard time that for me, it's like natural now that I want to help. I want to help you. I want to assist you liberate yourself. I want to assist you because there's nothing really we can do unless the person is actually at a point of surrender, at a point of like wanting to liberate himself. Like you cannot liberate anyone unless the person is willing to open to liberate himself. And you can only assist into giving pointers to liberate him from some conditions that they have. It's, in my experience, that's what it was. So it's really to become aware. And I think in the sport, we're so conditioned into seeing everything as a win or lose.
Right.
Everything is win or lose. So you do well, you're happy. You lose, you're unhappy. And then for some people, it goes so deep that if they're not performing well, then they're not going into their own expectation. Then they feel like shit. They feel so bad that it really drives them to the ground. And some people and a lot of times we see like people like these fighting spirit guys, like they were like warriors. You know what I mean? They're warriors, and they just cannot accept things to not like go to the level where they're at. And it's just like there a lot of times it's hard because you don't want to accept that. You don't want to accept that you have this. You don't want to accept like you don't want to surrender. Surrender is like so perceived as weak, you know? It's weak to surrendering. And that's how we see things. But surrendering is not quitting. Surrendering is just saying like, look, man, I'm trying to control like this mental, but what I need is just to try to stop controlling. And by stopping controlling this mind, it's suddenly like start to solve. And once you become more aware of this pattern, then the momentum, you interrupt the momentum. And there's a gap. And then next thing you know, there's more mindfulness. You know, there's more space, and then your state shifts. You start to feel good. You start to see where you were perceiving some things where it was completely off, and then you readjust the way you look at things, and the things you look at suddenly start to change as well. Right. You know,
so when you were in Wheeling, did you before you quit to take care of yourself? Did you confide in teammates at all, or is this something that you kept to yourself?
No, I kept it to myself.
No, but nobody had any clue at all.
No, that's the thing. I mean, they knew something was wrong with me and my team. Like they knew something was wrong with me. Like they knew something was off. I mean, I would just like exclude myself. You know what I mean? Like I would go and hang out with people that were not from the team.
Right.
So I would just like exclude myself from the team a lot of times. I would just like, and then it's sad in some way, like you can, because like you're being judged in some way, you know, and you're being judged, and you know you're being judged at some point, and I don't resent anyone or anybody. Like I don't even wish things to be any different than the way it was, because everything unfolded for me. Everything unfolded so perfectly. But I know now that if there's a teammate, if you're in a team and you see somebody excluding themselves and like hang out, whatever, it's the easiest thing to say, like, well, what the fuck? Like, we're like, as a teammate, we're like, what the heck are you doing? Like, why is you always, like, if you see this, it's maybe a signal that it's not necessarily that the guy wants to exclude himself, but he's just, like, too ashamed of himself. You know, he's just too much ashamed of himself. He's just too much afraid to being exposed to you guys. He doesn't want to be seen this way or caught up, like saying like he's a mess or this and that, so he exclude himself. So it's maybe a sign that you know, like it's for a team. I invite teammates, if that happens, I invite guys to go and reach out for sure, like 100%. I mean, I didn't necessarily have anyone there, but you know, I ended up leaving, and my girlfriend at the time, I ended up, like, she was in Pennsylvania, and I ended up going there, and then Wilkes-Barre, I was under contract with Wilkes-Barre. They sent me to a psychologist. I went a couple times, but, you know, I think that it's same thing when every time I dealt, like, I didn't need therapy. I just ended up like, so that's the thing though. Sometimes people can't afford therapy. Some people can't afford, like NHL, they have the player program, player assistant program, and that's great. But like, you know, like in Fort Wayne or in the American League or whatever, sometimes guys don't have necessarily this program. They don't have necessarily this place where they can go to LA and go into the retreat for a month. You know what I mean? Like these things cost like $20,000. I mean, like, and so, but what I'm saying is you're not stuck, even if you're not hacked. That's not necessarily the answer, because as soon as you believe that this is the answer, it's basically makes things more of like you feel more stuck. You know what I mean? Like, it's just to make that everything that's here, it's almost like a shift of perspective that you have all you need. And I repeated that so many times. I have all I need to go through that moment right now. I have all I need. I have whatever it takes, and I am whatever it takes to go through this moment right now. Not through the month, because I don't need to focus about the month. If I stay present to here, I have all I need to get through this moment right now, all the time. And then you stay more present. It's like I have all I need to get through this here, right now, this moment. Even though, like, if we look too far ahead, it's too much. You got to get back to here now. And then I have what it takes to get through this here now. And then, again, sometimes you have to remind yourself these things. And then next thing you know, the things that you were so worried about, it's out, and you got through that moment. And then you're feeling good, and it builds resilience. And you know that when things are hard sometimes, get back to the now, get back to here and now and to this moment. And you are whatever it takes to get through that moment.
Right. So you say like the player assistance program and stuff. Was there any teams that you played on at all that had anything like that was offered to any of the teammates?
Not that I know of.
Okay. So it's more
the
minor leagues are a little rougher for it.
I think there's like there's a line. You get enough phone number you can call and talk. I remember in Fort Wayne I called that number, but even there, like, I don't think I trusted that number. I was afraid that people will find out that I was suicidal. So there's a number you can call. But, you know, I called it. I encourage people that if that's what it is, call them or write to someone or, like talk to, for sure, like to talk about it. You have to open up. I mean, like you have to open up to someone. Like it's definitely going to help to somebody that you trust and these numbers, and they're there for a reason. But what I'm saying is that if like if you're in a tough place and you feel that if you would go to a therapy for like a month would help, yes, maybe it would help. But if you can make it because of your financial situation or for whatever reason, if at the moment you cannot make it, just to not buy into the belief that you're stuck, that you're done. It's not true. Like I would just go back to I have and I am whatever it takes to go through that moment right now, and go in baby steps like this.
Well,
go back to those baby steps.
That's the one thing that I've heard from a lot of people that have went through any type of recovery or addiction. Make it through today.
Yeah.
Make it through today. String today together with tomorrow. Don't worry about what you're going to be doing next year.
Yeah.
Don't worry about when I'm clean. Well, right now you're not. Yeah. You're working day to day, and you need to build that up.
Yeah, definitely.
So the days, the days becomes weeks, the weeks becomes months, the months becomes years. Then you look back to where you were, rather than looking forward to where you want to be.
Exactly. And your power resides in the moment all the time. Your power is here. Your power, you don't have the power to deal with this possible future fearing scenario that will never happen. You'll burn yourself down. Like your power is always here. It's always now. And you have what it takes to get through that moment right now. And you stay here. Once you get like overwhelmed, you go back to that. To right now. That's right. And I talk to you, and it also feels good to me to hear it myself talking about it all the time. Like, it's funny that these things sometimes need to be reminded, because like every time it's right now. It's right. Your power is here now. But every time, like, Martin Luther King, when he said, like, don't focus on the whole staircase, just focus on the step that you're into right now. So, like, for me, so many quotes like this come back to me. Like, I remember quotes, and I love them because they point at something so specific. And yeah, it's just to remember to be in the step that you're in just right now. Don't focus on the staircase, just the steps you're in. And next thing you know, you're on top.
Sure. Well, we know a lot of people, hopefully a lot more people will turn to you for help, just to go and chat and share some experiences maybe. I know I've listened to a lot of your stuff that you put online, and it's helped me through some stuff. So
great. Thanks.
Do you have like a website or link or anything that we can share for you so people can read some of your stuff?
Yeah, PascalMorency.com. PascalMorency.com is my website. There's I've written a book. I'm looking right now at the publishing options to talk about publishing company. Any publishers or company or people that are in contact with. I'm looking to see which would be.
You might want to talk with Blake.
Old former.
Yeah,
Blake Sebring.
Yep. Yeah. You might want to talk to Blake. Blake's like the book guru.
So I think he's got 12 books published now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
be a good one to talk to about that.
He had nothing. He had nothing. He was on our show last week, and he had nothing but good things to say about you.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I remember I bought Blake one of his books that year I was in Fort Wayne. I remember about one of his books that just came out the year I was there. So the book, I'm really like, I'm going into whatever we talk. That's why, like, when I talk about these things, I can talk about it for hours. I feel like there's so much I could share about mental health and belief systems and our perspective and our emotional signals and things like this. And I definitely want to make a difference in that aspect and to the hockey world and to assist players. I'm feel gifted for the injury. For me, like, I look back on the injury and it's like a gift in disguise, because like the brain injury I had in a critical condition, and then being completely, I was all messed up for like a month or 2 or 3 months. But, you know, after that, like, life was a drastic change. And then now, like, I'm almost, I can't, like, that happened in 2011. And then I stopped, short after that, I stopped drinking, and I never drank again, and never took, like, any drugs or anything. Like, I'm just, like, living life, and I'm happy, and I'm grateful. And this injury, there was no such thing as bad luck. There's no such thing as it's not even an accident. I don't even call this an accident. I can say it just for the purpose of communication, but it's not even an accident. It's like, it was perfect. It was so placed there.
So now today you're living out west, right?
I'm in Idaho. Yeah.
Are you?
My wife is from Indiana.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got married this summer, and she's from South Bend, Indiana.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
And yeah, thank you. And yeah, we're married. We are in Idaho. It's near Boise. It's in Meridian.
Okay.
It's like right next to Boise. Yeah.
Right in the heart of the mountains.
Yeah.
So are you coaching still then? I know you coached for a while.
Yeah, I coached for a while. Right now I'm not, but I'm still open for it. I'm still right now I'm not coaching this year. But we're still I still keep things open for that. I love coaching. Coaching is like, I love to be able to stay close to the players and impact them, not just on the ice, but off the ice and things like this, and the way they assist them and to be a better hockey player with skills level or things like this, like to with the game, but also with throughout the year, you can be there and can be there to assist them in so many ways. So
sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm still open for more coaching positions for sure.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, man. If you have anything, when you get the book published and everything, let us know and we'll plug it as much as we can. And,
awesome.
Try to get them out there. We do have one more question for you. Don asks everybody on the show.
Oh yeah.
From your time when you're here, it's a little bit more lighthearted. So
yeah, I don't remember how much of the time you remember here, but Powers or Powers or Coney Island, which one do you prefer?
Say that again.
Powers or Coney Island, the hot dogs or the burgers downtown, the little sliders.
I cannot say.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, next time you're in Indiana, when you're in Fort Wayne, you let us know, and we'll refresh your memory.
All right. All right. Yeah, no, it's I don't remember. Maybe the head injury. I'll blame this on the head injury.
There you go.
I'll give you a pass on that one.
Yeah. That's funny.
All right, man. Well, we don't want to keep you all day, so we'll let you go, but let us know if there's anything you need, and we appreciate the hell out of it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good one. Have a good holiday season.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. So as you heard, Pascal is a very good at empowering people and helping them out as much as he can. So if you have any problems, I know there's a few of the boys watching too. I've seen their names pop up. If you have any problems, don't hesitate to get a hold of him on Facebook. Obviously within reasons, don't tell him your girlfriend drama or something, but get a hold of him on Facebook. He's very active on there, and I'm sure he's more than happy to help everybody out in any way that he can if you're having some issues. So
let's shut this one down and start a new one. So
Yeah.
we can share them separate. So they're two separate things.
yeah, so don't lose us. We'll be right back. We're going to end this so we can save it as a episode with just Pascal. And then we'll be right back on another
You have
feed
something you were
shortly.
Oh, you started to say something.
And
Sorry.
we'll talk about the Komets and tech and all the other stuff. So we'll be right back.